because I see a lot of people, a lot of FAANG engineers, SD2, SD1s, struggling to understand the difference between HTTP post, HTTP put, and HTTP patch. So I just want to cover it, just want to cover it within 1 minute or something. So whenever we are basically creating a new entry, then we use basically HTTP post. Uh, and whenever we are either creating a new entry or modifying an already existing entry in such a way that we are giving all the details with respect to that entry, then we use HTTP put. And one of the major difference between HTTP put and HTTP post is that HTTP put is always idempotent, which means that in material of how many times you call HTTP put, the return value will always be the same, right? So if you call HTTP put 100 times, it will return the exact same thing. And a deeper reason as to why it will return the exact same thing is because the end result, the end state, or the all the data store or the database or cache or whatever that put is supposed to update, whether you update it once or whether you update it n number of times, the end state will remain the same, right? So if one HTTP put is successful, the state will be exactly same as if 100 HTTP put called in sequence to each other uh, are successful. Now, coming to the difference between HTTP put and HTTP patch. So the main difference between HTTP put and HTTP patch is that when we are trying to, let's say, for example, patch a row, then we are only sending the data to our backend services, which is actually changing. We are not sending the entire row. Whereas in the case of HTTP put, we are sending the entire details, the entire new details. So just to understand the difference, let's say that we are basically a company enrolling new employees. Then if we have to enroll a new employee, so we will have to basically create an entry in the employee table. Then we need the entire employee detail for the first time. So we will send the entire detail in the employee table, and then automatically an ID will be created for that employee, which will be the unique ID. If we are talking about something like MySQL, let's keep things simple. So that unique ID will be generated automatically. So we will use HTTP post there. Now let's say that the employee during his or her tenure changes the address, and so we have to update that address, right? So if and let's say along with address there are few other changes that employee has requested, so it makes more sense to actually just update the entire row there. So we will just send do HTTP put, sending the ID, the employee ID, which is also the unique ID of the employee, which is basically the primary ID of that table. And basically we'll update the entire row with HTTP put. And the way in which we will do this is by sending the fresh data all over again, the entire set of fresh data all over again. But if we only have to change very small details, then this is not the preferred way of doing this. The preferred way of doing this is through HTTP patch. Let's say the employee has just got married and we just need to change the marital status of the employee. So that way we can just use an HTTP patch saying that for this employee ID, just update the marriage date or whatever, marriage anniversary or whatever. Okay, take care. Thank you guys.